It even tells you.
Oh, David, we want your background.
No. I'll deal with the 90-degree heat.
My wife keeps it
This
cold.
is so much
cold
easier on
year
the
round.
computer.
The weather's a little different up here on Maple Ridge.
Are you plowed up there yet, David, today?
No. They go up to the.
You ever what? Does it say that?
It is now.
So we're gonna run through the same identifying ourselves thing.
I just think if we're just ready to go, we go, that's it.
Well, I think we should still identify ourselves.
Okay, oh, okay.
Okay, do you want to start with the people on the web first?
Sure.
Okay, let's start with whoever's online first. If you could identify yourself.
Deb Tanguay, Town Clerk.
David Barlow, Town Treasurer.
Chris Whiting.
Then all town administrators sitting to the side.
Phil Marquette, Select Board.
Scott Breyer, Select Board.
Dave Gallup.
Coventry resident, Coventry Fire District, the next district. Also Steve, I work for the Monroe Water Association.
They go also. I'm not sure if you're not doing it, but
He was just saying it louder.
I was thinking louder, so I lost the video.
So we're gonna call Monday, June 7th, meeting to order at 6:02-ish.
Yep.
So on the agenda, we're gonna, do we have any changes or additions to the agenda? I'm gonna say yes. We'd like to add a line item 3A. We have the fire district here tonight, and they want to go over some possible ways that they are able to get some funding with some help from the municipality. So we'd like to add that. Does anybody else have any changes or additions to the agenda they'd like to talk about? Seeing none. 3, public comment. Seeing
Can you
no,
guys all hear us fine on the Zoom?
can you,
Still hear us okay?
Deb,
I
can you hear us? Raise your hand.
David.
All right. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, but sometimes it's very muffled. So I think you guys are gonna have to like really scream.
Okay.
I hear you. Okay,
All right, thanks.
I hear what I want to hear.
Okay, so no public comment. We'll go right into 3A. Tom?
First, I want to thank the committee to put this on the agenda to hear us out or to hear from the fire district. So I heard through the article that was sent, of course, I listen to the news all the time, so I know that the state got funded $2.7 billion through the feds. It was awarded to the state of Vermont. And Paul, can you talk that piece where it went to, it's gonna go to the municipalities and stuff?
Yeah, well, fire districts are kind of, I don't want to say a lottery might be a wrong word, but it's a different animal. They're municipalities, but they're not. So the funding is directed toward counties, cities, whatnot. And fire districts unfortunately don't fall into that category. And oftentimes they lay within town boundaries, city boundaries, or maybe in different counties. So the funding was not directed toward them, because again, they are not a typical municipality. So Vermont rural water, we work with water and wastewater systems, and for years we've been pushing for infrastructure upgrades for all utilities, specifically water and wastewater. And so our hope is that, non town or village water and wastewater systems could somehow get some money. So we're just advocating for that because we do realize infrastructure is a need, so that we don't end up where we are right now. I mean, we've all been listening to the news. Infrastructure has been a topic for years now, and water and wastewater are no different. So that's kind of where we're coming from. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Vermont Tinker didn't, that's the article that went out that describes this. And our executive director has been very active in trying to get the voice on water, wastewater, and utilities here.
And it's not so much, Scott, that the Coventry needs a new infrastructure. I mean, we just got a brand new infrastructure that costs $1.4 million. Where I'm trying to, for the district members, is trying to seek help in getting funding to help the ease of loans. We have a pump that has to be replaced right this summer. That we'll have to get a crane to go and drop one, the other one out and drop another new one in. Maybe definitely we talked about some place being metered. Of course, we talked about trying to get funding, which I will approach, but I'm still trying to square well the original funding for $55,000 for a cost overrun that I'm still trying to get from USDA, but I'm having a hard time because I'm on my own. And with our discussion that we had, I'm going to get that for you to see if we go that route. So that's all I'm here asking for, is that when the town receives that money, if some of it can come our way to assist the fire district.
So Paul, is there an application that the town's gonna get, or is every town they're not just gonna give every town money without?
No, it's still kind of working its way out, so.
Definitely gonna be an application.
Oh, yeah, it's still a big application.
I don't know how competitive it's gonna be. People say not terribly competitive, other people say wildly competitive. So God knows at this point, the legislature's still kicking it around. They sort of don't know. Bureaucrats now have it, so God knows.
So it's gonna be more of, we're applying on behalf of the fire district to be able to.
Right, because it's going straight to the town
Yeah.
versus to the fire district. That actually be, what I read, printed out for you folks, actually spells out in a nutshell how it actually is supposed to work. And how it gets spread out. We will, of course, myself, or if I get other members, we will be more than willing and follow the procedures to get the allocated funds. I mean, that's not a problem. And I know it's gonna take time. I'm just starting out there just saying, hey, don't forget about us, so to speak, and just let them know that, the members know that I'm trying to reach every avenue that I can to try to have the fire district succeed. We're gaining all the time.
Just one key thing, because people have misunderstood, I know my relatives have. This is COVID relief money. This is not the money that they're talking about. It's still kicking around down Washington. This is.
This
money
is
that's-
actual COVID, this is
This is
the,
actual
yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
money.
I think that's from this last
It's not-
round they did, right?
The money that's coming. District.
Hopefully. Yeah, and unfortunately muddying the water, every organization like us, we have to put our 2 cents in, which of course drags out the process because the legislators are all looking at different groups and organizations that say, hey, direct some funds this way, or direct funds that way. Let's not, so I imagine that it'll be a while before this all gets hashed out.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask, was if there was the timeline.
There might not be a
that everybody
permit even to apply for any funding for 6 months.
Right, yeah.
No, I'm thinking, I'm hoping it's like September 1st, something midsummer, something like that. They'll have a clear understanding of who, what, when, where, and how to go forward with this, because the legislature should be done soon, if not done already. And
I mean, if the state or
wants something
if the state or federal government is offering relief for municipalities like a fire district, I can't see any reason why this board wouldn't want to we have the capacity to help, 50, 60, 70 members of the town have affordable water. And the school have water and, keep it affordable for everybody in the town. So yes, I would say, you have our support and whatever we can do and when it's available. We don't know what the program's gonna look like, but we're willing to help and.
Yeah, this is actually the President Biden's American rescue plan, is what it is. It's not, it's his thing. And it's actually $200 million that's actually going to the towns, and then roughly, what they're saying is roughly 300 per resident is what the allocation is gonna be for the state of Vermont.
Right.
So like I said, it spells it out exactly honestly that I handed you folks. So, and I thank you for hearing this out.
Yeah. So if you keep Ned updated and keep me updated, and, Paul, if you have any questions and you can help us in any way, or, we'll be happy to do whatever we can do to,
Yeah, and what I not, just to kind of highlight, not highlight, but, Don has been working quite a bit to get the fire district up and kind of back and running, and Coventry is not alone. There's, fire districts throughout the state are hurting, and a large part of that is, this is no offense to you, Don, but there's an aging board member. I'm sure you see it with select boards and town boards as well. But, so they're on a whole struggling. There are very few really well operating ones. So what we're trying to do, because we're a nonprofit that helps water systems, is we're trying to work with folks like Don, so we don't end up where we are now, which is all these utilities are saying, geez, we're really behind the 8 ball. We have crumbling infrastructure. So the pressure for you, Don, is as some relief comes along, we have to be constantly moving forward.
Absolutely.
Asset management, planning for the future, so this money does not essentially get wasted.
Exactly.
So that's where we're really trying to get the mindset. So Don's been great in working with us, and Pedro is a great advocate and sounding board for municipal water, wastewater infrastructure improvements and ideas to work efficiently. So that the support is great, but like I said, the pressure will be on whatever prudential committee runs this board in the future to keep it moving forward. So that's what we're hoping for.
okay. Well, we appreciate your efforts. Thank you for coming in, and do you have any questions, guys? All right, and then give me, when you do get a chance, send me the information regarding, how we can get another board member, like we talked about. Yeah, keep me updated and we'll try to work through that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Okay. Moving on, policies, review and readoption. Personnel policy.
One we put on hold, paper that we last meeting, wait for David to hear his on vacation last time. The gray sections are highlighted sections they've been added. This is this version was the version that was adopted by the board, with Amanda.
It wasn't adopted. We were going through it, working to adopt it. So,
Oh, working it out,
Yep.
okay. And no changes since the last time, just hoping for approval and endorsement.
you need to say something, David?
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me. Yeah, I had a whole bunch of comments and issues with some of the language that's in that. And Ned, I know you've seen it. I guess you didn't agree with it, or?
No, actually, some of it I've already integrated, because if it did make the changes that were legally required. And the misspellings and missing nouns and verbs that you pointed out, I have definitely fixed those. Yeah.
So have you seen this, Dave? Have you seen this policy?
I've seen what Ned sent out an email to all of us, but if you've got something sent after that, then no, not the latest, but there was some there's just a bunch of rather strange things and
Was that the
Like-
old, that would have been the old one, because this is the one I pointed out to you after the meeting, right?
Yeah, but this is.
So Scott hadn't even seen it this wasn't the version at the meeting. The last
No, this
meeting.
was the version at the last meeting, because I sent it out for the
Okay.
last meeting at the last second.
Okay.
David hadn't commented at the last meeting. David, treasurer David. And he's-
for example, and there's a section in there about sexual harassment that makes it seem like as long as all parties agree, then anything goes in the workplace. And I really take issue with that whole section. I think needs a complete redo. If you're reading the same thing I was reading.
Let me read it.
Then there's other sections that don't spell out who's responsible for doing things, like who's going to maintain employee files. It doesn't say who does it. There's some other examples of that where it's not clear who's doing it. And I think policies need to be very clear about who's going to do the work. Otherwise, it just won't happen.
Table
Yeah, we might need to.
I think Dave Gallo just mentioned table, and I think Dave Marlowe has a very comments that definitely needs to be.
Will you have some time this next week to review this and make some changes to it, Dave?
Did you already sent them to Ned?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you send it to us? Because they aren't in here, right? Or they're
I
at,
know, they end up as comments on the side.
oh, well, we can't see it, yeah, okay.
I commented on it in Word and it's marked up in Word. So you
Marked
just
up.
open it and you can see it.
Okay,
If you resend the email with it in Word and we all go through it, then we can approve, kind of temporarily approve that, and then you can type that one with the changes, and then we can approve that. So I make a motion, we table the personnel policy for more work.
second.
Okay. Conflict of interest policy.
Employee acknowledgement form. Dave Marlowe has no comments on that one. It's just.
no, that's gonna go along with the personnel policy. anyway.
Yeah, it's just long, it just says that the person that's gotten a copy and acknowledged that.
Okay.
Policy has had no comments, it just was able to last meeting again. And we able to Dave Gallup to be here. The only highlighted section is the date. What was adopted back in, I think it was 2019 by the board.
I do too. Make a motion.
I make a motion to accept the conflict of interest policy as written.
So move. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Here. We already did it, okay.
Just a second, but
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Scott.
We gotta sign all those orders tonight now that we're here. Hey, Mr. Barlow, treasurer's report.
Okay, I've got 2 months to cover tonight. But I'll keep in mind that it's a semi-virtual session here, so I invite your attention to April's summary.
A thick packet.
Just a second to grab that one.
right on top. one longer, one shorter one.
Top page there of April. And the big thing that happened in April was I moved the money that the town voted at town meeting in March into the reserve funds and the investment account. So 615,000 got moved into the roads and infrastructure and equipment fund. 75,000 went somewhere.
Building and maintenance? No.
Nope.
Nope.
That went into the reappraisal fund, 250,000 into the investment fund, and 10,000 went into flood recovery and mitigation. So if you look a little bit in the middle of that page under the restricted funds, you'll see that show up in the revenue line. A little bit distorted by the fact there's always bank interest that's posted in the same line.
What was the 74,000 from buildings and maintenance?
That was the cost of finishing out the kitchen.
Okay.
And in this particular case, we had cut the check, but the contractor had not deposited it yet. So this is an example of where I'm, if you look in the line up above, general fund without reserve fund spending, I've changed that to reflect the fact that we did in fact spend the money out of the
Hasn't been capped.
reserve fund. But if you went in onto this single sheet of paper and tried to balance things out, it wouldn't quite work out because that 74,266.67 was not yet deposited. So I had moved the money, reflected in CNB accounts, but not the check yet. This is also a month where you can look at the revenues for the general fund, 448,000, 404,000, approximately 405,000 of that is a Casella check that came in for the first quarter of calendar year 2021. So some big numbers in April. Another big number, the town's investment fund, which went over 10 million.
Nice.
I was looking at some 2018, early 2018 numbers, and we've doubled the size of the town's investment fund, roughly.
Cool.
3 years. Let's just hope that keeps going.
That's a good job.
Guess I need to learn how to do some investing.
Paying a $275,000 penalty also.
Oh, and yeah, other news
How they
on that.
tax-
Somebody also got pissed off by that, one of those annuity providers and sued them over their penalty policies and won a class action suit. So we're going to get some amount of money back from that, like about $1,000 supposedly. I've had the application in for a while. I expect it sometime in August.
Great.
So slightly mitigating the penalty on that.
Uh-huh.
What were we
So-
doing, with Microsoft shares? Is that sitting there waiting on the school?
In effect, you approved a policy for the school to spend out of this fund, I think in late 2020, and they have been doing it, although they haven't presented us with a bill yet.
Okay, I remember that now.
And we'll be able to pay whatever they present us out of accrued dividends probably for at least a couple of years.
Yeah.
Before we have to do
So-
something with shares.
Is that accrued 12,000 just from January 1st to now?
No, that dividend it has accrued since Microsoft first started paying dividends back in 2003, I believe.
For the life of it, okay.
Yeah, February 2003 when they first started. So we get about, it currently is like $636 every quarter from them.
Yep.
On that. Okay, if there's no questions on April, I will move on to May.
I'm good.
Just a single sheet. If people want to see the whole. I have
So let's see, I'll invite your attention to the other, top of the other report there, May of 2021.
Yep.
And here you can see in the reserve fund spending, the truck. Reappraisal, some more buildings and maintenance. It's a more standard month. Nothing really big happened here except the truck purchase.
Like the truck?
All right, I don't like the body. It's too far back. It's one of the things I brought up. That's how they set them up now.
From the cab to the body is,
Yeah. Just gonna have to deal with it.
And pending your questions, that completes my report.
I got none.
I have no questions. Good work, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Proposed paving program for 2022.
That's fiscal year 22 or year 22?
Well, 20 fiscal.
Okay.
21.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
These are just costs I threw out there. Spoke with David a little bit today, and he's recommending that we spend probably no more than 450,000. Given the lateness in the year, I have concerns on getting it done in a timely manner.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
I spoke with Bob Kennedy up at Derby. They're excited, a little more excited than I really would have given credit for, to pave their section of Pine Hill and to do it all together. We were gonna pave it at a prior date. They were eager then, they're still eager now. They still have money in their reserve. It'd be great to be able to do that all as one big bulk too, but
That's a pretty,
they were talking. They started, the minute I said, okay, like, are you talking like 23 or 24, 25? Then he started to get a little waffly, and I was like, you gotta tell us, because we're gonna start banking this money for a certain year and putting things aside.
Yep.
And he got a little waffly, but I think we could convince him that 2023 or 2024,
they'll do theirs.
they'll do theirs, so that we can do one big project.
So not do Pine Hill right now. Well, that would make sense. That would be 400 for the other ones, wouldn't it?
He would mention, this was weeks and weeks and weeks ago. Whenever if we put up an RFP, we should make sure that that it arrives hot above a certain temperature. We may want to bring somebody on. just
Right.
to-
It needs to be at least 600 degrees or something,
Yeah.
right?
Is that what
Not
caused
more.
some issues?
Because
I'm not happy with the Coventry Station Road way it came out.
I noticed.
That was a poor performance by Pike Industries, in my opinion. Arrogance. And should be corrected before. This town's had a history of good roads since 1950. I'll support paving. But why do we want to go from good dirt roads to average paved roads? We have the money, financial capability to do it. I want it done. I want it done right. And there needs to be some accountability on that station road. I've got a text, Norman's going to be crack sealing that this week, I believe, or next week, but that's not a fix.
So that's just, I noticed the cracks on that side within the 2 feet. And
All of
what's that,
way up.
what's he say that?
He said the dirt was too cold. And he was just pushing it. He's always pushing it when he's here and it's cold.
So how would he fix that?
He said he thinks it was too cold when he put it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Instead of waiting. He's always got to hurry.
Instead of pushing it off.
the thing is, the worst part about it is these projects that are so big for the town are 3 or 4 days worth of work to these companies. You know, we talk about it, we think about it, we budget for it, and then in 3 days it's done and we have to live with it. So
you end up in the back end of a V-Trans project and.
Yeah, so I had one question, Mr. Barlow. Why would you recommend only spending 400,000 when we have $620,000 in the infrastructure road budget?
So we don't spend it all the way down.
Well, you want to make sure you've got 150,000 around just in case you get something that goes kablooey.
So
It's up to you, of course. I mean, it's there for at your pleasure. Because we've combined all of the road reserve funds together, I think you'd want a bit of a rainy day set aside there. So we won't have an opportunity to replenish that fund until March of next year.
what do you
So
think,
if-
like the rainy day fund? Do you feel 50,000 is enough? I mean, do you have any equipment that's old enough that's really gonna,
You never know with today's equipment. I mean, our trucks are,
So if you leave Pine Hill out of it and do all the other stuff, that's 480,000.
these are ballpark figures. I
Right.
did notice I made a mistake too on Coventry Station Road, the hill, which is a half mile, is actually. Or did I do that? No, the hill is actually 24 instead of 22 feet wide right here. So there's a half mile of that, so it'd be a little extra.
so the top coat on Coventry Station Road, say we left the top coat off and we got the Pine Hill bottom coat on, and then possibly next year, we did all the top coating on the whole thing at once.
We
Would that
kinda
make
wanna plan
sense?
it in with Derby, don't we? Does it matter as far as having them do it, tie in at the same time?
It's no different than a continuation, I wouldn't think. But I think if we set precedents and get it done, then it'll force them to do it. If we don't do it, it's just gonna, that's the only road that we're trying to connect to have, when the emergency, isn't it? Like, that's the route we choose to use when, is this Route 1?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
this?
when Route
what-
5's closed, it's
Mhm.
either up Pine Hill or up around Aldeburgh.
The other thing
Is that bottom coat gonna last on Coventry Station?
I don't know, and I can't give you an answer for this. He's talking about seal coat down, then it gets dissipated. I just don't know where the shim's gonna. I don't see how the shim's gonna fit there.
That's not dropping, it's just,
It broke away. It wasn't hot. It didn't,
It's all through there. It's miles of cracks. Miles of cracks on a 1-year-old paving job.
what is the warranty?
Tailway.
So they recommend that he's gonna go up there, what do they go, with a blowtorch and heat it up and fill it in? What do they do?
You just do a regular crack seal, where they just put that rubber
rubber
in the road
stuff.
that you see everywhere.
that's just gonna peel up when you go and plow it.
So it doesn't
Doesn't do
help lock it together. It keeps the water out and helps it from
For a
breaking,
year, yeah.
helps
Yeah.
it breaking. What if you do that and then you put a top coat on it in a year later?
We could try it. I don't think there's any good answer to appreciation.
I mean, it's cracked.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Would he do the shim coat for not, as part of the warranty or is that?
I don't think he's gonna warranty it.
reclaim, just run a reclaimer over it.
That's gonna be digging up what you just put down.
Well, no,
So-
I'm just thinking of make the base
If and when
better.
we put a top coat on it, if the top coat was thicker in those cracked areas, would that make it stronger? I don't know how tar works.
I don't believe it. I'm not a tire expert either. And that's what I was just saying about the shim. He was talking about shimming over those cracks. I think those cracks are gonna be in that road forever. It's just my personal belief.
I agree with Dave. It does look like it just stretch. It's like, a piece of Play-Doh stretched out,
Yeah.
cracked, and that's it.
It's like a pancake when they kept rolling, it. They rolled it too thin and
Yeah.
the edges broke off.
A little too far.
I think too. All this. Bid it out however you do it, but if we're gonna do the station. And Mike's gonna get that work, I think we better get something in writing that this isn't gonna happen again.
It needs to be covered for anything for
And
a
if
certain
they're
amount
gonna
of
cover
time.
this failure, it is a failure.
Because we are way less than a year. We're what, 7 months maybe? Because it was the end
hair
of
over a
September,
year.
wasn't it?
I think it was hair over a year. We did it last spring.
So
Oh, I thought it was closer to the fall.
No,
my recommendation is we give David permission to get bids on this work. And then,
which ones you wanna do?
no, then we'll decide after we get the bid, right?
Okay.
Why don't we just why don't we get
Get the bids
a bid on,
separate
get a
for
bid
each
on the whole
project.
thing, just like this.
For each project or all of them?
Just like this, get these bids, just like, get it broken down like this.
Because then we can break it out and decide which one you want to actually do. You could maybe do the Hermanville and station of above the bridge as one, because that's small.
So you want to bid on each separate one?
Yeah,
When they're doing it, they're gonna go to these 5 locations and they're gonna measure and they're gonna have a number. And they're gonna say it's this many tons and it's this much a ton, so it's probably not.
but I could see where maybe they would, so, okay, well, if you do all of this in one shot, this will give you a better pricing deal too.
Well, we wanna tell them we're planning, you can tell them we're planning on, depending on the price, we're planning on doing it all. You can say we're planning on doing it all, and then if we have to drop off 100,000, drop off 10% or 20% of it, they have reserves. I would say get a bid on all of them, and then we can say, okay, we'll do it, but we're gonna take off Pine Hill, or we're gonna take off the top coat
Station.
on the station. And we'll do this top coat on the station and, you know, the top coat on Pine Hill, all in one continuous run. I know Derby, they like to put down a base coat and leave it for 10 years and then just put another coat on top of it.
Well, it's hard. It's expensive,
Yeah,
We're lucky. That's what.
yeah, hopefully next year we can put more money in the roads and infrastructure. We
And if
should,
we're not gonna get it done in a timely manner, I'd hold off.
Yeah.
If it's gonna, if Norm says it's gonna be September 1st.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, you know,
well, let's find out a timeline too.
let's set a timeline right now.
Completed by September.
September, Dave's right.
You know,
September
They-
1st. is
so-
gonna be-
When do you like to have it done? It has to be completed before when?
September 1st.
Second week in September,
We could do that.
September 15th.
September 15th.
With all work completed by
By
all
September
work
15th.
complete.
They doing that culvert up on 14 this year?
I don't
It's all
believe
mar- It's
so.
all marked.
I don't, I thought it was next year.
We got big safe marked and everything.
And you think we can get these, we should be able to get these bids by our next meeting? I would imagine.
So I think we're only gonna get 2 anyway.
Yeah. All right.
I want to say, follow up with Derby and say, we'll move ahead.
All right. RF,
Well, the top coat, you take the top coat out, yeah.
RFP rehab and repairs to the community church. Do we have,
We have 2. We have Jan Lewandowski for timber work. But in reading through it, it appears to be timber work for the steeple section only. I have to call him up, because he said something about the east wall. I'm not sure if he's talking about the east wall of the steeple or the east wall of the whole building, the place where the basement's sort of given away. So we need to get more stuff.
I think the east wall, I think he's probably talking about up top where the rafter sits on is what I'm thinking, right?
I can't remember. Is he talking about the roof structure?
That's why I need to call him, because it just says the east wall. There's also.
So I spent some time reviewing, you know, the proposed, you know, take this I forget the person's name. That guy did a great job.
Jan,
He did a good job.
Jan did the proposal, the original.
And then there's.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
Does he still want to do any of the work?
Yeah, he actually does. You said. he
That's who
didn't.
did this, right?
Jan.
That's this-
yeah,
that's
he
this
did the
report.
report.
I mean, with all the pictures, he went through the building with a fine.
I was with him.
Some of the stuff though, you're looking at it, there's a blemish where water might have dripped on a piece of wood. It really did look like it was rotted to me. I'd like to go poke around, you know what I mean? I was looking at that. It's like, I don't know.
The one thing that it includes is taking the steeple off and do it.
I think it should come off you after
I don't know, I
reading.
want to see his bid.
So
it was
says
originally-
framing
there was a
repairs
bid in
at
the
the east wall
original.
Plate.
It's cheap.
Was
Was that now?
Framing repairs at the east wall plate, solid timber joinery. That to me would sound like it's up at the top.
Yeah, it's a play up top, because they've got one rafter MacGyvered. He thought it was a pretty good MacGyver, but he'd like to fix it.
This is just a report.
Did-
No, that's even more information. Oh, that's his
Just his resume.
credentials.
Did, in the beginning, did Gobe or Gosselin or whatever come and look at the foundation, or no one ever came?
Nobody's ever approached.
Oh,
Drove by, so they come by on a Friday, couldn't make it, they came by on a Sunday, drove by and said a very nice note, thank you, email. You know, basically.
what's the number?
120, 125, something like that.
In the original, you sent me an email. What was it back then? He had it all broken out.
He had it all broken out, and I don't remember what it was for the steeple area. It was in that ballpark.
He was 190 for the whole building.
Yeah.
I'd like to get more of a price than just one section at a time. Like from someone, I'd like to see put it in the hands of like someone who's gonna kind of run the show.
It's a nice.
I was thinking of, I had mentioned the Ned earlier of a general contractor that takes it all on and gets it all complete.
Folks,
That's what Stuart was proposing, so they.
Who
The,
else around is there? There's Kingdom Construction.
well, there was,
and they were sent a proposal, right? Then
Yep. Yeah, everybody who fought a year ago.
the Stone Boys do great work, and I was talking to, what's Artie's brother's name? Elwin. Pretty much telling him, like, get us a price, you do great work, and whatever, and doesn't want to do it. I said general contractor, dude, just give it.
So if we look at Jan, right? Jan, there, that report.
That report was really good.
So East Plate Rafter, this is what I'm assuming he's talking about on
Yeah.
the East Wall. East Plate Rafter and tie beam.
That's like a year ago, right?
Yeah.
What was his price
Tie
then?
beam, rafter, and plate rod along the east wall should be repaired both to remove the slight sag in the roof and to keep it from getting worse. Since sags on the roof and plate leakage, this can be done with minimal disturbances. So that's what he's talking about there.
So is he gonna fix that and for $128,000, take the steeple down and fix that and all that?
Yeah, okay, so here's the cost. Let's see, does he have a total?
Got one,
Nah, I can use a calculator. So he's not doing drainage. Cupola, steeple, cupola framing, remove the dome cupola to the ground. That's what he's doing. Steeple woodwork repairs, cornice repairs at both cupola belfry levels. That's what he's doing. Metal roofing on the dome. and
copper.
Framing repairs.
He said he was gonna do copper. It was his original.
Leaded or zinc coated copper folded seams. So those three, let's add them up.
Yeah, and if he does, I think it'd be pretty easy if my feeling is if the steeple was fixed and the louvers in the steeple were fixed and that was replaced and the roof on that was done. Then we fix the foundation in the front.
Right.
And then we get someone to give us a bid on the regular roof. Shouldn't be too hard. They don't have to do anything with the steeple.
Right. I had two roofing guys call me neither showed up and never said a peep at that. Like you're saying, the roof is, without the steeples, straightforward,
The
really.
roof without the steeple is a piece of cake. Probably get that done for 50
That
or
looks
so.
like it's not, everything but the drainage and grade and foundation that he had in his report. It's 128,000.
Is he fixing the rotted wood around the soffit?
Drainage grade. Okay, cupola framing. Replace the large crossing timbers, the mast and other bad framing. Also the southeast belfry plate and top of the southeast corner post. And place from the belfry after finish repairs, steeple woodwork, cornice repairs.
Because in his original work, he talked about taking some of the metal ceiling down inside and fixing and putting it back.
And I see metal flashing on the outside.
In his full report,
Oh, the only one, okay. No, I don't see anything for inside.
no, what about the rotted wood outside on the steeple? Like the new,
Well, if he's taking the whole cupola steeple down,
right, but is he gonna rebuild it? Is he gonna paint it? That should be
well, that was
painted.
what was included in Sandville's.
No, but if it's down on the ground, this guy should like,
Billy was talking about 85 foot go up there.
Cornice repairs at both cupola belfry levels, also replace or repair lower trim and clapboards where they touch the metal roofing. Building, rebuild at least one louver and replace 6 others. This work should be done in coordination with metal roofing. There's 3 skirting roofs of the steeple. Since the metal should be stripped, the slope of the roof slightly increased. The metal flash behind the trim and clapboard, which will be kept a couple of inches above the horizontal surface of the metal. Any work on the first square tower of the steeple can be done when painting or re-roofing of the main roof is contemplated. So the lower square, that would be, okay, so he's only taking that off. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about, taking that off and redoing it. This would be the lower square, I would think.
okay. So is he gonna, so when is he taking
I
off,
think maybe we just,
taking this off? We should have him into a,
that's what I was just thinking. We should have him come in.
and explain it to us. I agree. You agree?
Yeah.
Let's call him in, Ned.
I'm just trying to text Brian, so that you asked me for a 10-minute warning.
I was gonna ask about that, because
Yep.
the painting bid, I'd say great to have one, but I don't think, I guess there's probably some painting that can be done before everything's.
Well, I
completed,
think-
but I was thinking.
I
get
think what we
everything
do-
completed First.
I think what we can do here is have this guy come in, right? And explain to us what he's gonna do. Let's take us over there and have him show us what he's gonna do for 128,000. You know, it'd probably take us a half an hour,
Mhm.
45 minutes, show us. And then we won't be like, oh man, I thought that was included.
Yeah,
And then we can decide if we want to do it. And if we do want to do it, then we can plan on, okay, well, he's not painting the steeple. So then that's when we'd want to probably get one more painting bid and approve the painting
And
and,
that'll be, steeple will be easy when it's down anyway to paint.
but I think he's only taking the top, like Phil said, just a little round part.
Uh,
I think he's only taking this. The only part's coming down is that. Definitely not this. This is.
I think he's taking the second part because it had some beams.
Oh, so if he takes both parts down, then that would be good. That'd be good, because then the rest of this roof is a piece of cake. And he's gonna fix, I wanna know if this trim, if he's fixing all this trim, then it's pretty easy to get someone to come and do the roof. You know, if we secure all the steeple and all that, then you can get not so, you won't need such a big name contractor.
right.
You know, the average roofer guy isn't gonna mess with a steeple.
Oh,
Okay.
never been touched.
All right, you want to give that back to Ned? That's the only bid we got?
Those are the only two we got.
Well, that guy did a lot of work last year. I mean, he knows these buildings. When I read it through
Yeah.
his whole breakdown, and it was interesting.
I also have to say, because he's the people at the Preservation Trust Vermont love him, it's gonna be, to go through their approval process of
And they're gonna give us 50 grand, right?
50 grand, that will make,
And then after that, they ain't giving us any more money, then we can do what we want.
yes.
Okay. All right. So you'll put him on, you'll call him in.
I'll contact him, I'll try to put him on.
You know what, even if he can't come during a meeting, maybe we can just have a special meeting. And us three can come down here during the day and we'll go spend an hour with this guy over here.
Sure.
I'd rather do it then than at a meeting.
Why don't we just have Scott, nominate Scott to go look at it, and we don't have to warn it as a meeting.
True.
All right,
All right, I'll look at it. You and him, and we'll look at, yeah. Okay.
okay.
Yep, that'd be great.
Good.
I'll come down here, we'll spend a couple hours and then I can explain it to you in layman's term, what's gonna happen and if I feel it's.
Yep.
All right,
We can also, while he's here, get him to maybe give us an idea on who can do the roof, or, you know, does he have a favorite roof person? or-
I definitely know a few roofers that can do the roof, but they're not gonna do the steeple and all the other stuff, so this
I
is.
sent it down to the guys at Iron Horse down at Tunbridge, and, you know, I even gave him a call, and they said, oh, yeah. nothing.
And for historic preservation, are we putting shingles or can we put standing seam on it?
I would think standing seam would be historically correct.
I would put standing seam, wouldn't you? A metal roof and we're done with it forever.
Okay, you want some roof guards, right?
Yeah, we'll put snow guard, yeah. Well,
Better hit you.
not on this side.
Yeah, that's the side you want.
It'll be hitting you in the town garage.
That was fine, of course.
Okay,
All right, I'll set up a special time with Jan.
Hey,
Okay.
can I get in on that invitation too?
yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, number 8, moving on. Appoint,
What are we doing with the building?
oh, for the bid on the painting?
I think we need to get that part figured out first.
I would tell Billy that we're interested
We're
in,
interested in it, it's just not at the moment, probably, right?
Hang on, let me send it through to Preservation Trust, see if they change anything with this bid, like colors or shading, or God knows what they're gonna do. See where.
Okay,
so
let's-
that we're ready to jump.
Well, that's fine, yeah.
That we can say, yes, we're interested, we have one more extra approval to go through. Please.
You wanna tell him that?
Huh?
Tell him we're interested in his bid.
I
We
ain't telling
thank him,
nothing.
huh?
I ain't telling him nothing.
I'll
Ned
tell-
can do
I'll
it,
tell-
yeah.
I'll tell
Okay.
And what we need, the hoops we need to jump through to get him lined up.
Okay,
I'd rather see the big work done before it gets completely painted.
well, he's not gonna,
You're not gonna scar the walls.
we definitely wanna have the roof done before they paint it, because when they freaking strip the shingles off the roof, they'll come down and if they have staging set up, it'll bounce off the staging and bounce off the building.
It's,
Yeah. Okay, number 8, appoint Ned Connell as municipal project manager for CA 0664A Coventry SDP BP 28 sidewalk scoping study. We have,
This is that site scoping study that they're gonna come in and.
this is because they want us to hire somebody to run a study, be a project manager for it. It's like, I told them straight off, somebody here can manage that project. So fill out this form, answer this question, send a copy of this, whether you're qualified to run this. Strangely, they cannot find what the 3 other files I filled out for them in other communities over the last 2 decades. I'll send them another one in. But they need a motion at a meeting to say, you know, yes, Ned.
you want to appoint Ned for that?
Yeah.
I make a motion that we appoint Ned Connell as municipal project manager for CA 0664 Coventry STP BP 28 sidewalk scope and study. All those in favor? Aye.
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Schultz?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Warrants. Hi, Deb.
Everything's right here. I've gone through them all. They all look good.
You sign?
I did not.
Not to step on Deb's toes, but she's been purchasing a fair number of stuff in the like, most of it. People are going to the back of the gym where all the stuff is. It's chairs, it's the tables.
Do you want to start and then pass them this way?
Yeah, I
And
can.
that way we don't, and then we can have Dave finish them and then we'll pass them back and then I'll have a complete folder. Should have brought my stamp.
You want to go to executive session before I just came online.
We could do the minutes quick. I don't.
So we're gonna be
David,
done
did
this
you
in
look-
2 minutes. I've already looked through these today. They're just one, everyone you're giving us is just one. There's no hidden sign down there.
No,
Okay.
She would be the one to do that.
You have one more thing that we're purchasing with the election money.
That goes underneath that. And these are together. So those go, these go underneath this pile right here. Those are part of that.
We seem to be having issues with that lately.
Well, we've been spending money, 2,500.
Well, you know, I don't think that guy's unreasonable depending on what he's gonna do for the scope of the work of the church. Because how many people, who's gonna do that?
He's the only one.
Right, and he's probably 100. He's probably old.
Oh, yeah.
And like after him, there's nobody else. There's just one for all these. Electric bill is pretty reasonable
Huh?
here. No, I was looking at the electric bill. You guys, your electric
Yeah.
bill's good.
Until the rates go up this summer.
Yep,
Are they going up?
that's it.
Well, I know I've been seeing the utilities are going up.
Oh, we got them nice and messed up for you, Deb.
not a problem.
I did my edits. Did my edit. Second,
Second.
all those in favor? We have to sign it. Oh, we don't have to sign minutes. Okay. Is there any other business? Okay.
Yes, but maybe you want to take care of do that at
Okay,
the very end.
Yeah, we're gonna table, well, we're gonna move other business to the end and we're gonna move into executive session. One VSA, whatever that symbol is, 3131, after making a specific finding that premature general public knowledge would clearly place the public body or a person involved at a substantial disadvantage. Update on negotiations with WEC on their assessed valuation. Like to include Phil, David Gallup, myself, Ned, Dave Barlow, and Brian, the town attorney.
Right now.
Get back in.
Yeah, perfect.
Who's,
All right, we're back.
everybody's back that wants to be back? So coming out of executive session, the board is going to make a motion to approve the settle agreement between the town and WEC for a $10.2 million value for the term of 6 years.
So move.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. No, I spent freaking 2 days in negotiating. Number 13, we're gonna go into executive session for an updated assessed evaluation on News VT. Again, I'd like to invite the same people that were just in the last one, myself, David Gallup, Phil Marquette, Ned Connell, and Dave Barlow, and the town attorney.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys. Yeah, bye-bye.
Yep, bye-bye. Coming out of executive session after discussion with our town attorney, no determination has been made. No actions taken. No action has been taken. Okay, let's go into other business. Does anybody have any other business?
Yes, I do. We had talked last time about the contract with our auditor. And I've since pulled up the original agreement or proposal, I would say, from 2018 that he submitted. And it appears that we've been running off of that for 3 years. And just as a reminder, Nathan Hawley is his name. He verbally discussed this with me before I talked to you last time, that he was willing to continue, whether it's year to year or if you want to recompete, he'd resubmit. I guess at this point in time, since we're almost at the end of the fiscal year, I'd recommend we continue for the next fiscal year, but then very quickly discuss how to proceed once we're into the next fiscal year for the ongoing fiscal years, if we want to change or something like that. I see no reason to change because of anything that they've, any performance issues. I think that he's been really good. But in general, it might be a good idea to have a different look at the books after a few years with the same auditor. But I'm concerned about making a change right now just because we're at the point of being in the next fiscal year and having to get those same services again.
So is he gonna give us a bid? Is it, over time, shouldn't something like that get cheaper for the town? He knows the ins and outs. He has a format. It should be.
It's actually been doing that. I was looking at the history of the billing and his proposal actually was that way, structured that way as well. So he's gotten cheaper over time. The first year he was pretty much dead on what he said he would be. The second year was less, a few hundred less, and this year he's several hundred behind. Just for point of view, the first year was about 11,000. Then it was 9,700, and this year, although he's not done with this year. When I say this year, I mean fiscal year 20. We are at about, let me blow this up so I can see it. Right now, he's about 6,700 in work, but he's got a little bit left to do. So it has in fact become cheaper every year. And I would expect this next fiscal year, if we continue with him, to be even less because the treasurer is finally getting his act together. It's taken a while.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we
But
appreciate.
I've in fact been reconciling all the accounts this year for next year or this year that's about to end.
Mm-hmm. So do we need a motion that we want to just use him again? Do you guys want to give Dave the authority to tell him yes?
It would be for fiscal year 21, covering fiscal year 21.
That's for what we're in now, right?
Then you're recommending,
Yeah, audit services for the year that we're in now.
then you're recommending moving on.
Do you want to go one more year after this with him and then move on?
I'd recommend, let me look into it a bit, but let's discuss it at maybe the next meeting or the meeting after. I need to do a little bit more research on who does this work and how many choices we have, because last time we put this out back in 2018, we only got 2 responses. And the other response was for about twice as much as this one. So,
Right.
and then there could be a number of reasons for that. So a little more research. I just recommend we put it back and discuss it again in the next meeting or the meeting after.
I mean, I do agree with you. Another set of eyes on everything is, a change of eyes is good, but depending on if is it worth 10,000 or 20, you know, at $5,000 or $10,000 a year more to the town, and
Right. And I'd say it's not actually not the whole decision point either. I mean, if they rebid it and it's a great price, yeah, and the other prices are awful, well, that's helpful.
yeah,
You know, I think it's also helpful that I've found the services to be very well rendered. You know, he's tough but fair.
mhm,
I think his reports, once you learn how to read all the audit speak, are reasonable. I mean, they give you things to do, things he wants fixed, and things that work well.
so do you need anything from us?
I just recommend if you want to make a motion to continue with 1 year, and we'll discuss it,
Yeah.
and I'll just let them know we want to continue at the same arrangement. I mean, it appears he's just billing by the hour, like
I'll make the
lots
motion
of
that
these folks.
Nathan Holly for the auditor for fiscal 21.
Correct.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Any other business?
Oh, related for fiscal year 20 audit, I have a letter that I need you to sign, Scott, that
Okay,
actually goes to Brian. And it's similar to a letter you've already signed, but
I think I already signed it.
did you? Okay, I'll pick it up tomorrow.
All right, I'll give it to Ned.
Yep.
All right,
Great, thank you. That's all I have. Over.
thank you. Let me just make sure I didn't stick it in your pile.
So. Do you have anything else?
I got these things kind
The
of.
assessor's office, I talked to Kate,
Yes.
and I know she's looking at other jobs, and she has requested, which I think we should do, for Tuesday to be her set day after July 1st.
You and I were set to discuss it, it was likely to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. and that matched up with the
Did I see?
other
Did I throw it?
days.
Yeah.
It seemed to be a no-brainer. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. But the one key thing is that the hours will be
Shifted a little bit.
firm and.
I thought you.
But that'll be on the website.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
still need to do the,
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to go, you said. Yeah.
You don't really know.
I'm just trying to find that thing that I was supposed to sign. Did you already pick it up?
no, it should be in that file. Page 102, there's a missing piece to it.
Oh, this is it.
Yeah. Okay,
Let me just sign this.
no, sign right there. We'll deal with the,
You'll whiten it out.
there's some blemishes on your letter, David, that we'll deal with.
I'll sign it way over here.
You can just write it out. Actually, cut that out.
Yeah.
Cut it right off and make a copy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, sorry about that.
We have that,
There's Deb's huge folder.
now Deb's.
I was very happy not having to deal with a paper like that.
I guess this should all just be, we're gonna shred this stuff.
And this is this too. I hate seeing this because we don't need it after that.
You know.
Well,
Here you go. A waste, but yeah, that freaking,
Okay, I'm still recording. All right, we're adjourned.
we're good. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.